Good morning from Marietta, Georgia. Big day for soccer around the world, and here at the Atlanta United training ground, it's back to work for both Atlanta United and Sporting Kansas City, and we're going to see two first-choice lineups from MLS sides as they play this friendly, which will involve three 30-minute periods. The MLS season, Jason, starts a week from tomorrow for Atlanta United up in Nashville, and today a chance after a very lengthy break for this group to rebuild some fitness.
Yeah, they've been training for a while, so I'm sure this group is ready to play somebody other than themselves at this point. As you look at Atlanta United's lineup with Lucas Ojos in goal, backline left to right, Pedro Amador, Stian Gregerson, Anae Mihai, and Tomas Jacob. Midfield trio anchored by Tristan Muyumba, Jay Fortune, Cooper Sanchez in front of him, Fafa Pico and Alexei Miranchuk on the wings, and Latte Lot up top. That's about as first choice as you can go with right now. Miguel Almiron was with Paraguay at the World Cup. He gets a little bit of a break to recoup and get over what was a great run for them that ended maybe a little bit earlier than they would have hoped after a battle with France. And we're going to see, as Chris Henderson has talked about, we're going to see this roster evolve in this window that is now open and won't close until the beginning of September.
But that lineup could be very, very similar next Friday night
Absolutely
in Nashville when Atlanta United returns to play in MLS. Sporting Kansas City has come to Atlanta for this friendly today, and you see them making their way onto the pitch. Their training ground in Kansas City right now being used or prepared to be used by Argentina. Of course, Argentina will play in the quarterfinals at Arrowhead Stadium, or as it's being called right now, Kansas City Stadium, in a few days' time. So with the SKC Stadium and training ground both in use right now by the participating teams, they've come here to Atlanta to get some work in, and then they will head back home later today. Both sides with identical 3-9-2 records in their first 14 MLS matches, and SKC playing in a 4-4-2 today, Jason. They will also deploy, as Atlanta United will, a first-choice lineup.
Yeah, Stephen Cleveland in goal, Jaden Reed, Wyatt Meyer, Ian James, or Blorian across the back line left to right. Zoran Basong and Lasheberg Johnson as your central midfielders, Calvin Harris and Capita as your wingers, Manu Garcia and Dejan Joveljic up top.
Interestingly, these two sides will meet each other in an MLS match in a little more than a month here in Atlanta. So it'll be a nice little early scouting test from that standpoint.
There are no secrets anymore at this point.
Well, we're sharing all the secrets with you because this stream is open to you, and we're glad you're joining us here from Marietta. Great way to start the day as we get ready for France and Morocco later today and the start of the World Cup quarterfinals. It has just been a fantastic month of soccer and a real opportunity now for MLS to capitalize on the increased interest in the sport across the country. And Atlanta United with Alexei Miranchuk will be one of the first teams out next Friday night in Nashville as they try to take one further step towards returning to MLS play. A break that was so lengthy it almost felt like a full off season. So in a way, this feels a little bit like a preseason match.
Yeah, I think the thing to remember is that this group has been back training for, about 3 weeks now. So it is kind of like late in that preseason mode. They haven't played many times up to this point. So this is the opportunity for them to get match fit. There's the big difference. I mean, the break was a few weeks. You then come back and you're training to get your fitness back to where it was before you go off. And look, these guys aren't, slacking when they're away. They are still keeping their body in shape. But there's a difference between that physical shape and match fitness. And that's going to be an interesting challenge for both teams. I think it's a good idea here to do the 30-minute segments. That way, both coaches will get opportunities as well to tweak things, to try things, to see some different things. We'll see how much rotation there is in the teams here. I think it's going to be interesting for both of them to find a rhythm early. Neither team is very used to playing this early. That is one thing, and we're having flashbacks to the MLS's back tournament with the early kick time. But it's a situation where you want to build chemistry. And I think with Sporting Kansas City, with a couple new faces, you want to get them integrated into the group. With Atlanta, you want to get this group, especially this midfield with Jay Fortune, as we see here. Fortune, Sanchez, Muyamba. I thought we saw that group really build in the first portion of the season, especially Fortune coming back from injury. You hope he can pick up where he left off and then even climb higher.
Well, we're just about ready to go here at the Atlanta United training ground as Alexei Miranchuk gets some final touches. These teams have really not met each other very frequently in MLS play. In fact, they've only played 4 times ever, and it has not been, in fact, since that 3-1 Atlanta United win to start the 2022 season when these sides last met in Atlanta. That was a match where Luis Araujo and Don Dwyer and Caleb Wiley scored for Atlanta United. Long time ago.
It's been a while since we have seen Sporting Kansas City. It's been even longer since we've been there.
2019,
yeah,
the last time we've been there. And
Ezequiel Barco with a night.
That's right. It was a 2-0 Atlanta United win, and that kind of catapulted Barco into the U19 World Cup, if I remember correctly.
U20s,
or
yeah.
U20, yeah. So SKC getting a chance to also test their fitness a little bit, and Lucas Hoyos in net for Atlanta United as he has started all 14 of their league matches this year. They're playing so early in the morning, 9:30 here in Atlanta, 8:30 Kansas City time, to try to keep these two teams out of the heat as much as possible.
I don't think it worked very much. It's pretty hot.
But not as hot as
I mean,
it will be
sure.
later today.
Sure. This is true.
Well, there's Stephen Cleveland, the veteran who was traded to SKC from Austin ahead of this season. Seattle's starter back in 2021. 5 starts in league play as Cleveland and John Polskamp have split time at goalkeeper for Kansas City. And we are underway 3 30-minute periods today. Unclear to us how much both teams will be changing within the periods, but both teams do have some substitutes available. That's played by Jaden Reed back to Cleveland for SKC. And we'll bounce all the way to Lucas Hoyos, and Anea Mahai will get things going for Atlanta United as he passes to Stian Gregersen, who sure must be very proud of the Norwegian national team and their success here at the World Cup so far. Good work here by SKC to apply some pressure before it's finally cleared up in the direction of Fafa Pico. And SKC earns a corner here in the second minute.
Good challenge there from Tomas Jacob to prevent a cross, but the corner is conceded. It's Calvin Harris up that left side who was able to turn, but good pressure from Kansas City.
Manu Garcia, former Manchester City man, to send this in for SKC. That is dug out of danger. SKC now will recycle here with Zoran Basong. Pico unable to get that away from Garcia. Jacob digging for it and wins possession for Atlanta United for the moment. Stian Gregersen now working against Capita. Here's the steal by Garcia, but it results in goal kick.
Garcia trying to quickly get that into the 18 to Joveljic. A little bit too much heat on that pass.
Both teams got the mandated break after their final MLS matches for SKC. That was May 23rd, a 2-1 loss to New York Red Bulls. For Atlanta United the day after, when they lost in Columbus. And then for players not involved in the World Cup, they got a little more than 2 weeks off, returned to their respective teams in mid-June, and it's been a lot of work and training to get to the point where the MLS season resumes next weekend.
Good pressure from Atlanta. Cooper Sanchez chasing there. Sanchez spent some time, along with Dominic Chong-Qui, with the U.S. U19s that had a camp earlier in the summer.
This one's going to connect with Jaden Reed. Intercepted, though, by Jacob. Pressure here by Joveljic forces the throw to SKC. Reed. Garcia. This is Lasseberg Janssen. Wyatt Meyer. Janssen again. Garcia. Kansas City getting a lot of work here on the ball in the first 5 minutes. Cross intended for Joveljic is blocked away, and Hoyos will make that catch easily. Lucas Hoyos saving at 63% on the season with 1 clean sheet. Mahai. Atlanta trying to attack down the left side now. Defending is Capita, and Capita gets a touch on that. It'll be a corner for Atlanta United.
First time really down the left for Atlanta, with Pico over there and Amador getting higher up the field.
So Alexei Moranchuk will send this in. We're in the 6th minute. Falls to Moyamba, who blasts it wide for goal kick.
Struck it well, kept it low as well, just pulled it. Let's see how Atlanta's pressure can look as Kansas City builds up. Get through the first line and pop up out wide to Harris.
Good duel here between Harris. Put the cross in, blocked by Gregerson. Fortune trying to work it clear. Here's Jacob. Cooper Sanchez. Free kick to Atlanta United.
It was really good work by Jacob in that last sequence. Harris got the step on him, but Jacob stayed with the play, and he got the help that he needed from Gregerson behind him. They combined to prevent. Kansas City broke the pressure well, but it didn't lead to anything. Moranchuk dropping deeper there to help in the build-up.
It's played through towards Fortune, but intercepted. Janssen for SKC.
Now counter pressure, going to try to force Kansas City back.
Cleveland with a collision involving Basong. They play on. Janssen. Good job by SKC to break the pressure. Jaden Reed.
Yeah, really impressed with Kansas City in playing through the pressure right now. They're getting to the middle third. Now they've got to figure it out in the attacking half. That's what they haven't been able to solve yet. But they've broken the first lines of pressure. You want to see Atlanta continue to go for that, though. That's something that, as we've seen in this World Cup tournament, it's so important to be able to apply pressure and do it consistently. You can't have a couple of times where you get broken result in dropping back too deep.
Calvin Harris able to drop that back to Cleveland. It's fun hearing the conversations on the touchline.
Really am having some MLS's back flashbacks here. Interesting in Atlanta defending in the sequence with Latte Lott wide to the right. He was following Joveljic, who's peeled away and made a long run.
Yeah, Latte Lott's kind of camped out on that right side right now. Jaden Reed putting the cross in. That's headed away by Mahai. Fafa Pico. Song tapped that away, but it rolls back to Fortune.
So for the moment, it's really Moranchuk as your 9 and Latte Lott on the right side. And that can change, and you're gonna see interchange. We've always seen that with this team. Good, nice work from Cooper Sanchez and Jay Fortune.
Down the left side now for Fafa Pico. Fortune, Moyamba, and Stian Gregerson now. To Latte Lott, playing on the right wing.
He stayed out wide in this whole sequence with Moranchuk. He started as the 9 originally in the first few minutes, but the way things have rotated right now, he's going to make a deep run to the back post.
That's a nice ball by Cooper Sanchez to Fafa Pico. Trying to spin around Ian James, and they'll duel to the corner flag. James knocking it out for a throw. 17-year-old Ian James, the 4th youngest signing in SKC history. Did well on this challenge.
Yeah, it's excellent work from James. See a lot of players in the field today who have benefited from the second teams and playing through it in MLS Next Pro.
James, in fact, all-star in Next Pro 2 years ago. That's a cross by Moyamba that's handled well by SKC. Moyamba, though, on the second ball gets it out to Fafa Pico, but that'll roll out for a throw. SKC returns to MLS play with a road match at St. Louis. Then they host Minnesota and go to LAFC. Atlanta United on the road in Nashville next Friday. Then road matches at Charlotte, New England, and Philadelphia before a week off and then returning home. As Calvin Harris. Good pressure there by Cooper Sanchez. It's played back to Cleveland. Janssen. Ian James to Zoran Basong. The long diagonal here for Jaden Reed. Manu Garcia. Played back to him, and then for Basong, it's cut off by Fortune. Worked over to Pedro Amador and up to Fafa Pico for Atlanta United. Good job by Atlanta United here to start a counter. As Cooper Sanchez stops it now and leaves it back to Anea Mahai.
Yeah, didn't have the numbers getting forward there yet. Smart decision from Cooper. Don't force it. Keep possession if it's not on to get forward.
Look out here, Gregerson doing well on a dying ball, but SKC with an opportunity now. Calvin Harris. And an incident here in the area, the penalty given against Tristan Moyamba. So SKC will get an opportunity from the penalty spot here in the 13th minute on the foul committed by Tristan Muyumba.
Harris able to get the cross in, and it's Muyumba trying to get in front of the attacker as we get another look. Look like their feet get tangled up as you take the wider shot here. Yeah, it's kind of inadvertent, and Joveljic is definitely looking for it. When the hand goes up in that way, you're looking for the call, and he gets it. The feet get tangled up. It's an unlucky situation for Muyumba, but Joveljic had started to get to the spot first, and Muyumba couldn't recover.
And it looks like Joveljic is going to take the penalty. Joveljic with 6 goals on the season in his second year with SKC. Oyo saw 1 penalty in the first half of the MLS season. It was a penalty missed. Joveljic makes it 1-0 for SKC. Well taken.
Kansas City got down the left side, and Harris able to get the cross in. Mihai was over to defend the cross, and Kansas City was able to break Atlanta's backline open in that sequence. Joveljic from the spot. No hesitation. Blasts that to his left. Ojos guessed the other way. And one of the best goal scorers in Major League Soccer opens the scoring here in this friendly.
Whole sequence kind of got started, the sequence that led to the penalty on a dying ball that Stian Gregerson tried to kind of drive forward, and SKC did a good job jumping into that play and countering, and now they've earned a corner here as we reach the end of the 15th minute. Good start for SKC. Coming off a 2-1 loss on May 23rd to New York Red Bulls. Calvin Harris scored in that match. Team that, like Atlanta United, got off to a very, very slow start, but played better going into the World Cup break. Garcia sending it in. And Hoyos will make the catch after, looked like Thomas Jacob may have partially blocked the corner. Now they try to get an outlet to Latte Lot, but that's cut off, and Garcia for SKC.
It's a good read from Capita. He followed Latte Lot that time, trying to spring him quickly with the distribution from Ojos.
How much of today is about tactical? How much of today is just about fitness?
It's both. I mean, you're not trying to do massive changes to what you've worked on all season. Tweaks, yes, but massive changes, no. So you're getting back into the rhythm of it. I think that's maybe the most important thing. It's just the rhythm of a match that you haven't had since, the end of May. Training is one thing. Matches are a whole different thing here in terms of getting your body right for competition.
Pico tapping that for Pedro Amador. Basong can fully win possession for SKC. Gregerson. Again, Latte Lot still.
Yeah, he stayed out wide on the right.
Yeah, hanging out on that right flank here, now in a 1v2. Mihai. Fortune. Sanchez, and Fortune again now. Muyumba. Cooper Sanchez. Gregerson. Played through now to the end line, and a good tackle to knock the ball into the corner. Now Calvin Harris digging for it, and it is out for goal kick. Well defended by SKC after a Promising opportunity for Atlanta United. Opportunity for Pedro Amador. He's first to the ball to take it back to Hoyos.
I was looking back at Latte Lot's career a little bit to see he has played out wide. It's not something that he's never done. It's just been a while. I remember having the conversations last year a little bit towards the end of the season that in training he would kind of gravitate out wide and look for those runs from outside in. This is interesting to see if you can unlock him a little bit in making that run. He's still going to act as a forward. He's just going to start from a wider position.
Fafa Pico for Atlanta United. That's going to bounce, and here's a penalty, I believe, on... No, not given. Calvin Harris, the penalty shout, but not given. And a foul.
Didn't seem very willing to call the foul at the time. We're getting another look at the penalty conversation. There's about as much contact there as there was with Joveljic getting it. I think the feet got tangled up a little bit more with Joveljic, maybe a little less there. Doesn't get it.
I mean,
this foul, I'm not so sure.
I don't want to look. This is a friendly. I don't want to make a big deal of this. That looked like a hook to me, and I certainly don't want to second guess our referee by any stretch. I mean,
we don't.
This is a friend. No, this is a friendly. We've been doing enough second guessing of referees during the World Cup. I think maybe we can spare this today. But this, to me, felt like a hook by Harris. Let's watch it at real speed.
This is
the foul.
Yeah, we're getting another look at that. For me, it's just the late whistle, and we'll come back to it.
Now, that was the penalty that was given
for
against
Joveljic.
Moyamba.
Yeah.
Well, hey, look. We're going to turn a new leaf today. This is a friendly.
10 more minutes in this period for Atlanta. You heard some of the emotion. You heard some of the frustration. Okay, now you want to see that come out in the play, in the intensity and in the urgency.
Fafa Pico. There is a giveaway. It's intercepted by Harris, Calvin Harris. And it'll be a corner, I believe, for SKC.
Good recovery. The mistake was there. Pico leaves that pass short. I don't know if he saw the Kansas City player who was waiting to jump it, but Pico chased it down and limited the options for Harris to cut back. Jacob holds his ground. Now you got to dig yourself out of the defensive third here.
This might actually be a throw. If you haven't been able to tell by now, we're actually not outside. We are in the commentary box indoors, so we are calling this off a monitor. Here's Zoran Basong. And James trying to run that down, but cannot. So Atlanta United gets the throw, trailing 1-0 on a Joveljic penalty in the 14th minute. Thomas Jacob. Jacob and Sanchez both going to be very important players for Atlanta United. 60 points on offer in the second half, mythical second half of the MLS season. Only 14 matches have been played so far of the 34, so not technically the second half when everything resumes next Friday in Nashville.
Great ball.
Long run here. And Latte Lot now for Atlanta United. And that center for Fortune. What a goal! Jay Fortune with a great strike to equalize for Atlanta United.
The whole sequence, brilliant. And Lot's part of it. Tomas Jakob is part of it. And it's Jay Fortune with the first-time finish into the upper corner. Excellent from Fortune. We talked about it coming in. You want to see him continue to rise. That's the kind of goal from the top of the arc that starts to turn some serious heads with that quality. The long ball, the long diagonal to Jakob, who makes a very long run from right back. He holds it up. Lot then cuts inside on the dribble. He gets the assist. Fortune gets the goal. Jakob would get the secondary assist. Great team goal from Atlanta United.
And a really great finish by Jay Fortune, who had a pair of goals in MLS play going into the break. And now here's a giveaway, or a near giveaway. SKC is able to rescue this.
Good pressure from Atlanta.
You definitely see the urgency now for Atlanta United as Ian James will earn a throw for SKC.
We've seen it so many times when you feel like you're aggrieved after a call goes against you. You're a little fired up. And Atlanta United has been more fired up since they don't get that penalty and then the decision in the middle third.
Atlanta on it again now with an Mahai. 25th minute, first of 3 30-minute periods at the Atlanta United training ground in Marietta. Fortune dueling with Capita.
Good work to keep it. Again, not forcing that forward. It wasn't on. He tried to find a way out of it. Couldn't. Okay, keep possession. Kansas City's pressure has dropped off a little bit as the 30 minutes has gone on. Now here it comes.
Well, you hear from the touchline, they've been very communicative with Manu Garcia.
Yeah. Well, you got to remember there's two Manus out there as well, with Latte Lot, known as Manu, on here, the near side here for Atlanta. So I think you're getting both at times.
You might be. But yes, Manu, when Manu Garcia had the ball, I'm going to make an educated guess. He was intended. Now here's Manu Latte Lot drawing a foul, and Latte Lot's finding some success here in the right flank.
It's interesting to see him with more space to operate in.
Here's a cross knocked away from Fafa Pico by Orblorian. Moranchuk. Moyamba. Fortune again. Here's Jacob, another deep run. Cooper Sanchez scores! And Cooper really fired up as Atlanta United takes the 2-1 lead.
Look, the way Cooper Sanchez plays, he is becoming a little bit of the heart and soul of this Atlanta United team. Constant emotion, constant pressure. You see it there. He's feeling the effects of the first 26 minutes, but he just stays with this. And he's able to get the little Trivela, the Tres Dedos. It gets blocked the first time. He doesn't quit on the play. And again, it's Tomas Jakob getting forward down the right, opening the game up. Great work from Jakob. Great sticking with it by Sanchez. 2-1 Atlanta.
I'll tell you, that was a nice finish by Cooper. That probably looks much, much easier than it actually is.
Yeah, it is most definitely not in that kind of sequence where it gets blocked and you've got to gather yourself a little bit. And Cooper Sanchez has been a player that, through most of his journey through the club, has played in a deeper role. He's playing higher up the field now, and you're seeing him get more comfortable in those situations.
Scan that QR code. Match tickets available now. Atlanta United with a lot of home matches coming up, starting in mid-August and continuing all the way into November as Atlanta United looks to take as many of those 60 points on offer in the second half of the season. Scan that QR code now for an opportunity to get your match tickets.
Great little backheel flick.
Yeah. And Fafa Pico now for Atlanta United.
Pico's had some unlucky times in the first portion of the season with injuries. It felt like every time he got going, there would be an injury. Love to keep him fit here in this final 20 games with his leadership and his ability on the ball.
Some of the moments, in fact, where Atlanta United has looked at its best this season in U.S. Open Cup, Fafa Pico's been a big part of those performances. But to Jason's point, only 195 minutes on the MLS season. 2 minutes remaining in this first period.
After some shaky moments in possession early for Atlanta with good pressure from Kansas City, I think you're seeing Atlanta look a lot more comfortable in these build-up phases in their own half.
Gregerson to Hoyos. And a giveaway here by Jay Fortune as Ian James claims it for Kansas City. Feels like SKC has had very little of the ball here in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, it was a great start for them up to the penalty, and an absolutely perfect start on the road for Kansas City. And Atlanta's just settled in, and Kansas City, I think, is maybe feeling the effects of having not played matches in a while. And that's the thing about these kinds of friendlies is the rhythm of the match. We've talked about building rhythm as a player, building rhythm as a group on the field, but the rhythm of the match, just handling things as they go. It's Atlanta has adjusted as the match has gone on better, and Kansas City has struggled to do that a little bit. They'll get a reset here in about 30 seconds.
As Gregerson is fouled by Joveljic.
See frustration both ways there. Joveljic didn't want to chase, and Gregerson didn't appreciate the foul, and Lucas Ojos will calm him down, and the referee will go ahead and, I think, call for the first 30-minute break.
Probably not a bad idea.
No, smart refereeing.
So, Atlanta United concedes from the penalty spot in the 14th minute with Joveljic, then comes back, and Jay Fortune with a beautiful goal in the 23rd minute, followed 3 minutes later by Cooper Sanchez, and Atlanta United leads 2-1 at the end of the first period. We will be back with more in just a moment.
Talent on the pitch is second to none.
What a shot! My goodness, Tabinia! A monster
So after a little bit of a shaky start for Atlanta United, they steady themselves with 2 goals late in that first period, and they have a 2-1 lead after 30 minutes played here at Atlanta United's training ground in Marietta. I thought a very good start to the match for Sporting Kansas City. Disruptive with counter-pressing, able to generate a penalty and find a goal from the penalty spot. Feels like after Atlanta United had a penalty shout not given and then a foul called against Cooper Sanchez, the intensity on Atlanta United's side certainly picked up.
Yeah, sometimes feeling aggrieved can be what spurs you on, and really good from Atlanta in the way that they built over the 30 minutes. I think they struggled to play through Kansas City's pressure early. Once they started to break it, Kansas City dropped off a bit.
Highlights of the first 30 minutes of 90 scheduled here in Marietta. And Sporting Kansas City got a penalty in the 14th minute, and when you have Jovic going to the spot, he's tough to stop.
Yeah, Jovic is one of the best goal scorers in the league. He hits this with conviction. We've seen a lot of different kinds of penalties taken this summer. Jovic, no hesitation at all.
Speaking of hit with conviction, watch this from, well, this was a missed, or in our opinion, a potentially missed penalty, but Jay Fortune with a convincing strike here to equalize.
Yeah, top of the arc, inside of the right foot, places it exactly where he wants. No chance for Stephen Cleveland. And it's Latte Lot cutting in from the right wing to set that up after a long run from Tomas Jakob to start the entire sequence on a great diagonal. Jakob keeps it going with another long run. The cutback to pick out Cooper Sanchez. He stays with it after the block and puts it home. That one won't get an assist for Jakob, but look at this finish from Sanchez with, they call it like a tres dedos. He's almost hitting it like not quite with the toe, but he's just flicking that through. Not much of a backlift, not trying to go for power. He has to adapt to the situation. And for a player who has mostly been a holding midfielder, think about how we've seen Cooper Sanchez's growth high up the field in this first portion of the MLS season. Him and Jay Fortune are both 8s in this midfield setup with Muyumba as the 6. It's been talked about consistently through the first 14 games that you want to see these 8s get into goal-scoring opportunities. You've got goals from both of your 8s so far today.
So Atlanta United with a 2-1 lead after 30 minutes in this preseason friendly leading into a resumption of MLS play next Friday in Nashville. Now, one thing we do not know is how long, if not for the full 90, this starting group for Atlanta United will play. I think what we saw with the lineup, Jason, was this is a mainly first-choice group. I think maybe Fafa Pico for Miguel Almiron. You could probably make that assumption.
Yep.
Otherwise, the group that Atlanta United started with is very possibly the group that they'll play with next week in Nashville, but unclear if this group will play the full 90 minutes today or if changes will be made for the second 30-minute period, which we will have coming up right after this.
The talent on the pitch is second to none.
What a shot! My goodness, Tabinha! A monster!
That'll be here before we know it. Can't wait for NWSL in 2028 as we get set for the second of 3 60-minute periods. It's our information that Sporting is going to play as much of this group, which is a mainly first-choice group for them, as close to the full 90 minutes today. That is our information. They do have some subs available. And for those of you watching back in Kansas City, it's our understanding that the first-teamers who do not play in this friendly against Atlanta United will play in another scheduled scrimmage here in Atlanta after this concludes. So everyone is going to get some work in today for Sporting Kansas City.
Yeah, you're at that point in this restart where, it's not a full preseason, but if you're thinking about it in terms of getting back up to speed, you're a week away from a match that counts. So you're building as much fitness as possible. And it's really smart for Kansas City to make the most of the trip, get everybody 90 minutes. You want everybody roughly at the same level fitness-wise. And then you can make your choices for next week. So we'll see how long this group can go. If any changes are needed, you've got guys here. But the idea from both of these coaching staffs really seems to be, let's get guys as close to full 90s as possible so they're ready to go for the regular season resuming next week. Kind of gets us used to the rhythm of what the new calendar will look like. We've got the sprint season next year in the first portion of 27, and then there'll be the summer off like we've had this year because of the World Cup, and then you'll resume and get back onto that new calendar that I think is going to be a great thing for this league. I'm really excited about where that's all going to go. But it's a fascinating time with 20 games left now, then a sprint season, then a new season. Lots of decisions to be made for both of these teams.
Second period underway. Second of 3 30-minute periods. Try to determine if any changes have been made for either side. It does not look as though that has happened, as Atlanta United earns a throw on the far side. Jay Fortune, Cooper Sanchez, the goal scorers in the first period for Atlanta United. Dejan Joveljic from the penalty spot for Kansas City.
It's been the Newell's product, Tomas Jakob, who has gotten forward a lot down that right. Jakob and Latte Lot combining on that right side. They've looked good together.
And is headed away by Wyatt Meyer.
So they're going to Atlanta's sticking with that, with Latte Lot wide to the right, Moranchuk as the 9.
And Zoran Basong connecting with Janssen. That's Orblorian, 26 years old from Israel. And here's an interception now by Latte Lot for Atlanta United. Got Jay Fortune coming down the middle here as Latte Lot goes for Fortune. Back to Latte Lot. Well defended.
Yeah, just couldn't get back to the right foot as he tried to chop that back. Latte Lot running in at pace from the wing is definitely unlocking some things here for Atlanta United.
Manu Garcia now. Played ahead to Calvin Harris. Oops. Might have been offside anyway.
Heard the footsteps from Lucas Ojos as well.
I think it was offside
Yes.
anyway.
Yeah, it was. Saw on Lucas's Instagram that he was in the building for the Argentina match against Egypt. Hope he's caught his breath. Took me a while to do that.
What a intense experience that was at Atlanta Stadium on Tuesday.
Something Atlanta and Kansas City have in common is Argentina this summer.
Fafa Pico got on the end of that, and that might have taken a deflection. It's going to be an Atlanta throw.
Yep.
To Jason's point, Argentina is using SKC's training ground right now in preparation for their quarterfinal match against Switzerland, which will be on Saturday in Kansas City. Switzerland is using SKC's stadium.
England has been at SKC's second team training facility, so Kansas City's been very busy. Both of these cities have had great summers with the World Cup.
Well, and one of the really fun stories is Algeria kind of taking over the University of Kansas in Lawrence, Kansas, and how the townspeople there really adopted Algeria. So it's just been, you're absolutely right, phenomenal for both cities. This is a chance to fight through traffic for Moranchuk. Fafa Pico giving it to Jay Fortune. Moranchuk again.
Ooh, love the idea. Amador wasn't ready to make that run, but that's just quick creativity from Alexei Moranchuk to pop that up to himself, to just flick it through, hoping somebody's going to make that run.
Calvin Harris. Calvin Harris and Gregerson with the nice work to sweep it out for the Fluro.
Stayed with him step for step. Didn't let him get around and then pick this spot to go in for the tackle. Excellent work from Gregerson.
And that's good work by Latte Lot. It'll be another SKC throw. But Latte Lot has been playing on the right wing today, if you're just joining us, and had significant roles in both Atlanta United goals.
Latte Lot played on the right wing during his time in Italy as a young player. We've never seen him play on the right wing here in Atlanta. We've talked about it consistently in the first half of the season. You want to see his confidence start to shoot up. But one thing, and you mentioned the defensive side earlier, he's defended well.
Uh-oh. Well, a good deflection here by Tristan Moyemba. They were trying to play it through to Manu Garcia.
Latte Lot's worked hard off the ball consistently all year. You want to see his confidence in the attacking third really start to get back to where it was when he arrived. That's nice read from Muyamba to get in and get a touch there so Garcia can't get on the end of it.
A high. And Amador maybe trying to let that roll through to Moranchuk.
Yeah, trying to get a little flick there. Seen those two just not quite finding each other yet. That happens when you're getting back to, again, that match rhythm. So Atlanta going to drop off just a little bit here and engage in the middle third.
Ian James.
Good ball.
Oh, that is a great ball for Capita. Mahai will knock that into the corner and out for a corner.
What a ball from James. Been really impressed with seeing Ian James, the young homegrown.
This will be SKC's fourth corner of this match so far. We're in the second of three 30-minute periods. Gregerson marking Ian James as Manu Garcia to send it in for Sporting Kansas City. And it's knocked out of there by Gregerson. Fafa Pico giving it to Moranchuk.
Talk about confidence. That is a very confident play on the ball from Alexei Moranchuk.
Kansas City wins it back briefly, and then it's driven clear by Gregerson.
You try to play out of that to keep possession and be able to get forward with numbers. And Moranchuk is trying to make something happen there. Now, then the longer pass gets intercepted. It comes back. You have to reset. I love that confidence from Moranchuk on the ball there to try to make it happen and get you out of your defensive third.
Ian James, 17 years old, St. Paul, Minnesota. Been a bright spot for SKC in this friendly. Pedro Amador to throw it in for Atlanta United. Fortune.
Good read.
Jacob.
Good read by Fortune. He finds a Latte Lot. He settles it, and Atlanta now has space.
Pedro Amador. And that is going to be blocked back to Amador. His cross headed away. Ooh, I thought Cooper Sanchez was going to wind up and take that first time.
Cooper's confident, but I don't know about that one.
Tristan Moyemba back to Cooper Sanchez. Jay Fortune. Sanchez and Fortune, the goal scorers for Atlanta United. Mahai. Amador. Fortune. Thomas Jacob now. Leaving that through to Latte Lot. Dealing with Wyatt Meyer. Zoran Basong gets in there. Atlanta maintains it, though, with Thomas Jacob.
Jacob's been very good today.
Moyemba looking for Fortune, but I think a little mishit. Kansas City countering here. Calvin Harris. Joveljic overlapping. Joveljic has it now. Oils off his line. Makes a good challenge, but still stranded here. And they score. Capita equalizes for SKC.
So we get a look at the entire sequence. Gregerson tries to hold it up as long as he can. Joveljic drifts out wide. Ojos can't get back, and he can't affect that situation. And then Capita on the back post. It's both sides of it. Ojos has to go for Joveljic in the moment, but he's overcommitted there, and he can't get back. But then you're not defending on the line either in those moments. Felt very disconnected in the reactions to the play, as we will get another look here in a minute. Good work by Kansas City to open Atlanta up, and Atlanta didn't handle that well.
This rolls all the way to Stephen Cleveland. Well, Hoyos, if you listen to the radio broadcast, it's a frequent topic of discussion between Jason and I on his tendency to come off his line and defend in the corners, and now Atlanta United has to do some defending here. They do get a throw. Let's see it from the very beginning here and how this all unraveled.
Yeah, and that in this sequence for me, that ball's played through. Ojos has to go for it. He stays with it. That's where you can have a question about what to do and when to drop in and all that. But look at the Atlanta defending on the backside of it. There's no reaction to clean that up. You can have the conversation about Ojos. He has to come for Joveljic on the first ball. He has to. But then could he have gotten back, and then where's the reaction from the rest of the group to defend?
That is a good ball for Alexei Moranchuk. Alexei! Oh, couldn't beat the final man. Trying to win it back now. Pedro Amador for Atlanta United and called for the foul.
Moranchuk was holding it, looking for that long run of Pico, used it as a decoy, and then the nutmeg, but he couldn't quite get on the end of it. Meyer does enough. The ball gets through his legs, but he slows Moranchuk up enough to prevent that from turning into a goal.
We are essentially in the 43rd minute of this match. Second of 3 30-minute periods. Joveljic from the spot in the 14th minute. Jay Fortune in the 23rd. Cooper Sanchez in the 26th. And you just saw Capita in the 39th. Zoran Basong. Wyatt Meyer. Calvin Harris now. Harris gets the cross into Joveljic. Manu Garcia! Just wide.
So a little similar to the first 30 in that Kansas City has started better through the first portion of it. See if Atlanta can get their footing again. So Joveljic gets a good bit of space there, and he's able to drop it back to Garcia, who has a lot of space, and just can't bend that one in on the right side. Defending the space has been an issue here in the second 30 for Atlanta.
That does go out. Harris couldn't save it.
Elias Baez into the game on the left side for Atlanta.
Baez, who has started in 12 MLS matches this year.
Had a chance recently to catch up with Elias, and it was a great conversation just about his journey to get to this point and settling into Atlanta. He talked about how it has been a challenge in MLS, the transitional nature of the league versus the physicality of Argentina. You have a little more time on the ball in Argentina, and then the challenges do come in and they get strong. In MLS, it is very back and forth, and he's had to adjust to that. I think he's adjusted pretty well, honestly. In the first portion of the season, I've liked his contributions both offensively and defensively. The two young Argentine fullbacks for Atlanta can be very important in this final 20 games with Baez on the left, and especially with what we've seen from Jacob today.
Looks like Pedro Amador was subbed out in that, offside on SKC.
Yeah, like for like with Baez going to left back.
Since they set up for this free kick, I want to go back to the last SKC goal.
Okay.
Hoyos outside the 18 jumps with and extends his hands to try to block the cross. If he touches it, is he sent off?
Yeah, I mean, in a regulation
it's
game,
a friendly.
Yes. Yeah,
that's the caveat. But
yeah.
But now I wonder, in a friendly, would you actually make Atlanta United play with 10?
You would probably send him off and allow them to play with 11 because neither team would really benefit from the 11v10 with 45 more minutes to play. I'd also have to look back because he was really close to the line. I think he might have been right on the line, which would make it an even trickier call.
Right. I think he was – we're going to see it here again in a moment. I think he kind of jumped twice. I think inside the line on the first and outside in the second. Let's see. If I remember this right.
He stays with it here.
So no problem here. Now
he's right on it and jumping out, so it would be a real judgment call.
Well, it doesn't matter. SKC scored anyway, and Hoyos gets to stay in the game.
Yeah, my issue with that, and look, I know a lot of people are going to talk about Hoyos being there, but he has to go for the first ball through to Joveljic. He can't just stay on his line and let Joveljic shoot from 6 yards. That's a goal every time. It's then, did he have a chance to backpedal in, and why was the recovery behind him poor?
Which is an extremely important point.
Yeah.
Okay, good ball here by Fafa Pico. Unfortunately, Cooper Sanchez loses it.
Almost got it back. Did.
Now it's played up to Fafa Pico. Atlanta looking for the go-ahead goal. That cross is knocked out for a corner.
Cooper stayed with it. Atlanta got it back. And then the ball here from the right to the left from Latte Lot, that is an excellent pass to pick out Fafa Pico. That breaks 4 Kansas City defenders with one pass from Latte Lot.
This has certainly been very intriguing with Latte Lot today.
He looks like a different player in that position. He's got more time and space, and he's able to see things develop in front of him a little bit. You want to see him get into the 18. Gregerson was being wrestled with, and Stian is fired up today. But Latte Lot on that right side is interesting. And I said it earlier, I'll say it again. I remember having these conversations late last season about training sessions late and how Latte Lot was just gravitating out wide and doing really well. He's taken to it well. He played there a little bit as a young player in Italy with Atalanta and out on loan from Atalanta.
Ian James, I think, has had a good game here. Florian. This is Janssen. The long diagonal for Harris. Calvin Harris. Good stuff by Jacob. Good work by Thomas Jacob.
Yeah, I think Jacob might have had one mistake early in this, but outside of that, he's been potentially the best player on the pitch. Great ball.
For Fafa Pico by Jay Fortune, but unfortunately it hooks out.
Yeah, it's the trickiness of not being pitch side to see that one. That was just a little overhit.
Here's Jacob on Harris.
Gets the right foot in, wins the ball. Made the right decision there, Tomas Jacob. Waited for his spot, saw the ball. Harris showed him a little bit too much of it. He was able to knock it away.
Garcia. Remember, again, we've got that QR code on the screen. Chance to get your match tickets for the remaining matches of the 2026 season at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Back there in a couple weeks. This one rolls to Alexei Moranchuk, who plays that through to Fafa Pico. He is onside. Fafa Pico can't get past the final man, Wyatt Meyer.
It's another good defensive play from Meyer. Pico wants to get back to the right foot, can't.
He looks frustrated.
He knows he had an opportunity there. And look, this is Pico wants to earn more playing time. And that's one that the ball from Moranchuk, the opportunity is there to get back into the lead. And Meyer shuts the door. It's good defending. Pico knows he's got that in his bag to get that opportunity off.
Fascinating hearing the commands from the touchline. Stian Gregerson for Atlanta United. 10 minutes remaining in the second of 3 periods. This is Baez, Atlanta United's first sub into this match. In the middle to Jay Fortune, who had a beautiful goal for Atlanta in the 23rd minute. Latte Lot loses that. And it rolls ahead now to Orblorian. Fortune called for the foul.
Smart foul in transition there. Don't let it build up into anything else. On that turn, just a little bit of a heavy touch from Latte Lot. Yeah, you're trying to cut across there if you're Fortune, but you don't mind if you commit that foul to slow up the break, allow your team to get back.
The song. Here's Calvin Harris again. That cross blocked nicely at the post by Gregerson. Harris. We'll go all the way back to Zoran Basong as both teams reshape. Here's Orblorian now being chased by Cooper and helped to the ground by Cooper Sanchez, who's called for the foul.
Sanchez is feisty.
It seems to be unappreciated, and I understand why.
Yeah, just pushing the back. They didn't like it. Gregerson didn't like the foul from Joveljic at the end of the first 30 minutes.
Basong clearly taking exception. Here's the scuffle. Oh, this is a little more of a scuffle than I realized. They're still being separated. Orblorian being pulled away by Janssen. Not sure how much of that we got. That was a pretty legitimate scuffle, though, at least the still shot we saw. It's still going. Let's see how much of this we can pick up.
Love it. Now we're getting back into the regular season.
So Basong's in there. Jacob is in there. Janssen and Fafa Pico.
Love that from Ojos getting up into this. Here's what I really like about this from the Atlanta United side. Cooper Sanchez, youngest player. Yeah, he shoves a guy down. Okay, fine. When they come for Cooper, they don't get to Cooper because Jacob is there. Ojos is there. Fafa's there. Everybody is there to defend their player. That's what you want to see.
Now the referee is going to speak to Cooper Sanchez and Zoran Basong. This all started with a Cooper Sanchez foul. Basong seemed to take the most exception to it. This is reminiscent to me, Jason, of kind of deep in Cooper is booked.
Yeah, that's fine.
This is reminiscent to me of deep in the NFL preseason when you've been practicing against each other for a couple weeks, and now you get to maybe either practice or play against someone else, and those moments can tend to be a little chippy, as Basong now was booked for his role in the altercation. Maybe a little bit of that here. And
I think Fortune might be reminding the referee of the push late. Oh, we get another one, too. I'm not sure who that one went to. Fortune was pointing back the other way, maybe reminding the referee of the Joveljic and Gregerson incident at the end of the first 30.
This referee's been busy. He called a penalty early. There was a pretty legitimate penalty shout not long after that for Atlanta United, and now he's had to deal with, air quotes, a mass confrontation. This Capita for SKC.
Baez
Can't
says
work
no.
his way past Baez. Garcia. In the middle, that's rolled through and wide by Janssen. It did take a deflection. Hoyos has had an eventful second period. And now Atlanta United will have to defend the fifth corner of the game for SKC.
It has been something noticeable throughout this first portion of the season how many players who are new to the club have talked about Cooper Sanchez and what he's brought to the group and how impressed they are. I think he's been adopted by everybody on this roster, and you saw it in that last situation.
Garcia to the back post. Good catch by Hoyos. Good read.
Good hands from Lucas Ojos.
Rolled a little past Alexei Moranchuk. And Wyatt Meyer, who's had a good game, is involved now in restarting things for Sporting Kansas City. He's on it again here. He had that stop on Fafa Pico, and it looked like Fafa was going to be in on goal on that beautifully played through ball to him a few minutes ago. Lorian. Harris. Meyer. Back to the goalkeeper, Stephen Cleveland. And that is knocked away by Jacob. Jacob now on the second ball. He's got an opportunity here. Thomas Jacob. And just behind Fafa Pico.
That's the next step for Tomas Jacob in his development, is getting forward and impacting the game in the attacking third. We've seen it earlier today a couple of times with just the relentless running that he's going to make up that right side. The quality of the pass in the attacking third. That is the next step. If he can continue to refine that, you're talking about potentially one of the best fullbacks in the league. Hearing the referees chatter as well.
Oh, good work by Fafa Pico.
Took a little bit of a deflection, but it's still Atlanta.
Jay Fortune around Capita. Jay Fortune then around James. And here's an interesting call. It's going to be a corner for Atlanta United.
Baez follows Fortune through there. Excellent work all the way around. Took a couple of deflections. Fortune stayed with it, and then Atlanta counter-pressed so well right here where it does turn over. Fortune doesn't let the first clearance be easy. Baez steps up. Excellent work in that counter press.
We're trying to work it to the near post, and that is blocked out for a throw. A little more than a minute to play before the next stoppage. And that is Latte Lot, who has been playing on the right flank in this match. Ball diagonal here by Mahai. The target is Moranchuk. Joveljic. Harris. Final minute of this period. Harris, good work. Good scoop by Jakob.
Jakob again, defensively, picking his spot. Both teams will be just fine getting to the break.
And Latte Lott trying to work his way past Harris, called for the foul. And that is the end of the second period with Capita's goal in the 39th minute, equalizing. It's 2-2. We'll come back with a chat with Jay Fortune.
Hey, I'm Jay Fortune. This is Game Time, and my player 2 is Luke Brennan. Random dead.
No, we already got another one.
No.
We already got another
Random
What do you
dead.
mean
Why are y'all trying to cheat, man? Come on.
What do you mean? Why?
You guys are way better than us.
All right, three. All right, 1, 2, 3. All right,
Let's go. Ready up. Ready up. Hey.
Random dead.
Connor, what?
So they
Or
get 3
just
randoms.
dead.
Okay.
Yeah, like, I'm doing random one more time.
Yeah,
so
do
whoever-
random.
Bro,
It's
come
my-
on,
it's
bro.
my-
Come on, yeah. Let's lock in, man.
Before you start, if you had to rank yourselves on who's the best, who's the worst.
Probably in that exact
If
order.
this- no. I'm better.
Oh, 1, 2,
like
3,
that.
4.
No.
Alright, so we're gonna have them 1v1 at some point. Yo, wait, what am I?
I'm red.
I'm yellow.
Wait, yeah, I'm pink. Dude,
Bro, I don't like your posture. Sit up. What are you doing?
bro, it's Jaden, bro.
Lock in.
Hey, my name is Stian Rode Gregersen and I'm from Norway. When I grow up, my favorite place to play football, it's in my hometown, of course. We had a small park there with, especially in the summer, it was grass, not snow. So we had a lot of friends there together and we played football. My core memory, especially when I was small, we met in a bowling and we played together. And we're still doing that today also. So every time I come home, we play bowling. It's a lot of competition, so that's very fun. The best food of my experience have to be in Bordeaux. It's a steakhouse, M&P. It's top level. And I've been there so often, so I have my own knife there with my name. So every time I went there, they give me this knife. And know also some friends of me in Bordeaux, when they're coming there, they borrow my knife. So that's good to see.
First play of the game, I want to set the tone. I go up and I catch Worthy shot, and I threw it in the second, third row in the stand. I went up above the rim. I'm almost looking the rim, and I'm fired up. And then Worthy and I had going at it. We were both having great games. In the last 2 minutes of that game, a young kid named Michael Jordan took over. I'm like, so that's Michael Jordan.
Yeah, where'd this kid come from? Where'd this kid come from? We're meant to be over here, but this kid over here.
So that was the
popped up.
start of our competition against one another. And we're the only two foes in NBA history to ever average over 30 against each other for a whole career. That tells you. And he said something recently, man, that blew my mind. But it's things that I've been trying to tell these young kids, that the level of competition that he and I had was legendary. He said, I was the only one that ever unleashed his instinct, as far as his instinct, his toughness, and his drive. He thought, I'm the only player that he had to unleash that, to compete against me every night. Because one thing he said, because I had the ability to inflict as much pain as he did. And I thought that was a compliment that, man, that's...
Play in this friendly between Atlanta United and Sporting Kansas City in Marietta. It has been eventful. We've had a penalty shout, 4 goals total, a scuffle. Yeah, it's been an interesting morning, and let's take a look at how this has all unfolded over the last 60 minutes with still a 30-minute period to go. Sporting Kansas City got to the this is actually their goal here in the second period, with Hoyos off his line and Capita converting.
The through ball was very good to Joveljic, and then the recovery from everybody defensively was not. Too easy for Capita there at the end of it.
Atlanta United, though, had an opportunity with Alexei Moranchuk.
Good run from Pico to open things up. Meyer doesn't get it, but he's got help behind him from Orblorian.
And then here, Manu Garcia pushed it wide. That could have given SKC a 3-2 lead. Atlanta United came back here with Fafa Pico.
That's a great ball by Latte Lot to open that up to Pico. Here's the scuffle as Sanchez with a shove in the back, frustration on Blorian. This had been building. Basong didn't like it. And then everybody said, no, you're not going to start shoving Cooper Sanchez. Jay Fortune first. William Paz there. Jacob's there. Ojos comes up to get involved. Love to see the mix of Atlanta United players protecting Cooper Sanchez in that moment.
I didn't notice that until just now. Orblorian and Hoyos really
got
snippy there at the end of that. And, we are Atlanta United's commentators. I know there are probably a lot of SKC supporters watching us. So I would also say, as encouraging as it was to see the response by Atlanta United's players in that incident, I think some praise also goes to Sporting Kansas City for asserting themselves in that sequence.
Maybe a little.
Okay, it looks like Atlanta's made some subs here. Cayman Togashi is on. I think I saw Luke Brennan out there.
Brennan on the right. Togashi likely as the 9.
Yeah, this looks like a totally different team. We're going to try to pick it up for you. We have not been told. Joveljic is still on for Kansas City. He kicks off.
Riley is in the 6th position for Atlanta. We'll get it as we go on the Atlanta side. Kansas City was going to try to play their entire group through 90. We'll see if they can do that.
We do know that Atlanta had 3 call-ups prepared for this. Toto Najub, Ignacio Suarez-Corey, and Cameron Dunbar. And I believe that's Toto Majub who just touched it.
Majub on the ball in the back line. Ronald Hernandez there as well. It looks like it's Majub as the left center back, Hernandez as the right center back.
And this is Ronald on it now.
Matt Edwards as the right back.
So we're figuring this out. That is clearly Will Riley. And Toto Majub. Toto played with the first team for much of the preseason.
Majub's a very promising prospect. He's had a few injuries this season.
That is a foul drawn against Calvin Harris.
Ignacio Suarez-Corey there fouled. An idea of the midfield alignment here as we go.
And over on the near touchline, Jaden Reed is called for a foul. This is the final 30-minute period. Jaden Reed gathering himself here. Hopefully he's okay. Might have taken something to the cheek. As Jason said, the plan for Sporting was to play this entire group for 90 minutes. Matt Edwards going over the top and a little overhit for Togashi. Easy play for Cleveland. Orblorian for Sporting Kansas City. Wyatt Meyer in a difficult spot was able to get that out of danger.
Cameron Dunbar wide on the left for Atlanta. He's been outstanding for Atlanta United 2 this season. Great 1v1 player.
Luke Brennan challenged by Harris into the corner. Brennan somehow got a cross in. It'll be a throw to Atlanta. Or Blorian making that play.
I believe there is one more player that was not on our list featuring in this. We'll try to confirm. Good ball from Dunbar.
Calvin Harris calmly clears. Well, this is a good opportunity, you know, especially for guys like Najub and Suarez Corey and Dunbar. You're playing against a first-choice MLS side right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And these are guys who have performed at the next pro level, and these are guys who have trained a good bit with the first team all season long. Smart possession here from Atlanta. Got to find a way to crack this open.
SKC's been nicely organized here. This is the 65th overall minute of the match. Hernandez plays it up to Will Riley. Good strong challenge by Janssen to win it back. Now it's Joveljic starting a counter for Kansas City. Capita, who scored the equalizer.
The midfield's a little bit different for Atlanta than it was structured in the first 60 minutes with a 6 and 2/8. A little bit more of a double pivot with Will Riley and Andrew Hardinas as the two holding midfielders and Ignacio Suarez Corey as the more of a 10. Hardinas has really come on strong for Atlanta United 2 over the last few games, to the point that after he made his debut with the Twos as a starter here in the last month over in Athens, Jose Silva told us, if I had a whole team of Andrews, we would be winning the league. He's played so well as he's made the jump up from the academy teams. He's been really one of the big stories for Atlanta United 2 over the last month of games in Next Pro. He's on the right side of the midfield triangle, Riley to the left, and Ignacio Suarez Corey as the more attack-minded of the trio.
Hernandez. That hooks out for a SKC throw. Baez is still in the game. Came on kind of as the halfway point sub, not a true half-time today, but came on.
He'll go roughly 45.
Yep. And here's a foul on the far side.
Suarez Corey has spent some time in the U.S. Youth National Team pool. Younger brother has as well. Santiago Suarez Corey. He's been a star in the academy. You're seeing so many players from this Atlanta United academy right now playing in youth national teams, but moving up the ladder quickly, getting these kinds of opportunities, whether it starts with Atlanta United 2, training with the first team, getting some time on the field today.
Down the middle for Calvin Harris. Atlanta wins the ball back here, and an opportunity. Luke Brennan going for the back post, and Cleveland makes the nice save on the back post header.
Great ball from Brennan. That's what you want to see from him, making things happen in the attacking third. And Dunbar, one of the smaller players on the field, gets his head to it. Nice save from Cleveland. It's a good header from Dunbar. He's trying to go just inside of that post. Cleveland makes a very good save. It was Hardinas who won the ball back initially for Atlanta.
Let's see what happened here. Looks like Will Riley. Oh, no, that's not it. That's Matt Edwards and Calvin Harris. Oh, and then Harris rolled into Riley's knee. I'll tell you, that hurts for Harris, and I'm glad Riley is okay, because in that accident.
Yeah, he goes into, I think, more of the shin. So Riley is okay, and it's just completely unlucky there. Edwards commits the foul, but in the process, head to shin is never comfortable. We'll get another look at this so you get a clearer opportunity to see what happens here. Yeah, the contact to the head is completely accidental. That's why you see Riley and Edwards both going to Harris. Just a conversation about the push in the back that started the sequence.
Good refereeing.
Yeah, it's just a conversation. Like, hey, be careful. Hey, I've got to defend him. Everybody getting on the same page. Yeah, and you get it from Kansas City players who are frustrated. The tempers had flared a little bit earlier. But, yeah, no bad intentions there from Edwards at all. It's the way the fall happens and the way Riley is trying to recover that leads to the injury.
And I'll restate, I think that's good management by the referee.
Yeah, 100%.
I think, in the World Cup, without getting too specific, I think we've seen some incidents of referees who have been overly assertive. I thought that was a good, just kind of diffusing of the situation in as friendly a way as you possibly could.
Yeah, no, I think in general the World Cup refereeing has been outstanding. I think, and it's mostly been more hands-off than maybe we're accustomed to seeing, and I hope that we do see more of that. But these are the kind of moments where I think referees really show their training and show their personality in moments, because you want to be able to manage the game without throwing a bunch of cards and without blowing the whistle a whole bunch. You want to be able to manage the game and let it flow. And I think that's been the goal in the World Cup. As you get later into it, it tightens up. In a game like this, the referee's going over and making sure that everything is going to finish well here in this match. For a match that had a little bit of a pull apart about midway through, the referee has kept this from going any further. That's one of those moments that could flash it back up, not with the way that this has been managed. Great refereeing.
Really good point. And I think most importantly of all, it looks like Harris is okay. The contact to the back of his head was totally incidental and had nothing to do with the foul. And I think there was a little bit of concern, as you said, Jason, back of the head on shin. You always worry about concussions, but it looks like Harris is okay, and that's what's most important. Well, Atlanta United's best chance here in this third period came off a Cameron Dunbar header, which was saved by Cleveland. We've had no scoring here in this third and final period. Jaden Reed. Still Jaden Reed. Will Riley wins it back for Atlanta United. And now Brennan is spilled by Harris, who will be booked for that.
Again, good refereeing, coming over, making sure nothing flares up from there. Harris just fighting to try to win the ball back. He's just late.
Well, I would imagine from the standpoint of the managers, you're going to be pleased that you've had a little bit of everything in this match today, not just in terms of open play, but you've had some chippy moments. You've had some set pieces that you've had to defend, especially Atlanta United. They've defended against 5 corners. I would imagine Tata Martino will say that this morning has been a little surprised SKC gets a free kick out of this, but I would think Tata will say they got a lot out of this today that they were hoping to get.
Yeah, I think you get a lot of things that you can work with here. A lot of video to work with. You've had some good team building moments. You've had lots of things to work with as you've got a week to get ready for a game that counts.
Not an easy plunge back into MLS for Atlanta United, going to Nashville, who's had a very, very good start to their season. And then staying out on the road, Charlotte and New England, and then to Philadelphia, who has never been an easy team no matter what their form is, playing in Chester. That's knocked away by Baez. Will Riley to Ronald Hernandez. And now Matt Edwards for Atlanta United. Boy, that is a lung-busting run, and it will turn into a cross that will be played out for a throw. Luke Brennan with a real lung-buster here to keep that going.
It's a good ball from Edwards. Sends Brennan on the run, weighted it really perfectly, so Brennan's able to get to it. You need the run to the near post, though, in that moment, because Brennan at full stretch, he's not going to be able to get that to the back post.
And that's nice work by Toto Majub.
It's very confident from Toto Majub. You got to watch Atlanta United, too, and see him do that on a regular basis. So good on the ball.
Goal kick. Eamon Togashi. Very industrious center forward for Atlanta United. Seems to find himself in a lot of dangerous spots. Wyatt Meyer works that out of pressure, and then Will Riley trying to dig for the second ball and gets it. Cameron Dunbar now scooting it back to Riley. Good work here by Atlanta United. They've had a good last 2 or 3 minutes.
Good movement from Hardinas to find that gap, get on the ball, turn, advance.
And now Luke Brennan. Brennan with Orblorian knocking that up into the air, and then Dunbar hits the side of the net.
Dunbar's been all over it coming in from that left side. Immediately grabbed my attention with Atlanta United, too, with his ability on the dribble, his ability to create. He's been goal dangerous in this 30-minute period. Just can't quite get that one off the hop on frame from a tough angle.
I don't think there are too many players in the world from that angle who can get it on frame. That's a tough one.
Good decision there from Hardinas.
Now tapping it back to Luke Brennan. Brennan called for the foul.
That's a tough one. Brennan full speed after the 1-2. Pass intercepted. Gets to the ball really close.
Lasseberg Janssen came over from Malmo prior to this season, draws the foul. This is essentially the 77th minute of this match.
It's a quick judgment call. Referee, no hesitation to make the call. It's right in front of him.
Dejan Joveljic converted from the penalty spot in the 14th minute. SKC led 1-0. Then Atlanta United got a screamer from Jay Fortune in the 23rd minute. and Cooper Sanchez scored in the 26th minute to make it 2-1 through the first 30-minute period. And get a replay of that shirt tug on the foul. The only scoring since the first period came on a broken play with Capita slam dunking into the open net with Lucas Hoyos trying to run down Joveljic in the far corner. That came in the 39th minute, and there's been no scoring since. SKC has played this full group the entire match. Atlanta United played their first choice for almost entirely 60 minutes. Pedro Amador was subbed down in the 45th for Elias Baez, and now this is almost a completely changed group here for the final 30-minute period. So that is the summary if you're just joining us. I think Atlanta United's probably most outstanding performances of this friendly have been by Thomas Jakob and Jay Fortune and Cooper Sanchez, in my opinion. But Latte Lott put in an intriguing first 60 minutes playing on the right wing and had direct roles in both Atlanta United goals. For SKC, I'd say good performances by Ian James and Calvin Harris. Those two have really stood out to me. Wyatt Meyer made a really important defensive stop on Fafa Pico when Pico was in on goal late in the second period. So there have been standout performances from both teams today.
Both teams have had good moments. Both teams have had moments that they'll want to tweak and improve as they get ready for the regular season to resume next week.
This is Joveljic. That's partially deflected, and Atlanta wins possession here. And now let's see if they can turn this into something. Cameron Dunbar. Baez. Was it deflected? No. Goal kick.
Overlap from Baez. Good idea. Scan that QR code. Get your match tickets as Atlanta United will be back at Mercedes-Benz Stadium very, very soon. They do have to go on the road a little bit before they get back in the building.
First match back will be in mid-August against the always pesky New York Red Bulls. Red Bulls, in fact, the last team that SKC saw before the break. That was a 2-1 Red Bulls win. Calvin Harris scoring the goal for Sporting Kansas City, but that was all the way back on May 23rd, which feels like a long time ago. Zoran Basong. 10 minutes to play. Blorian. Manu Garcia. Reed. Going back to Meyer. That's Janssen with the pitch for James, but it's out for an Atlanta throw. This third period's been pretty much all Atlanta. And, to be fair, against a tired SKC side.
You need to get something out of it, though, if you're Atlanta.
It's quite true.
Ardinas, great ball.
For Luke Brennan, who can't save it. Good ball, though, by Ardinas.
Yeah, I think Brennan wanted to get that in first time and just couldn't get around it. Ardinas has been really impressive for me calling his games in the academy over the last couple of years, but when he made the move up to MLS Next Pro, he elevated his game and has continued to. A lot of times you see players, maybe the excitement, maybe the intensity is really there at the beginning, and then you see a little bit of a drop. You've seen Ardinas continue to rise and elevate playing with Atlanta United too, and he's been very good here today.
The song slow to get up, and I think that's the stoppage, or the reason for the stoppage. Maybe cramping a little bit. ran right into Will Riley, but I think this might be more of a cramping issue.
Yeah, he's lean and stretching out for that. You mentioned it earlier, Kansas City does have more players here. They're players who are not featuring here, going to get as close to 90 minutes of work as well after this. See who will come in here for the final 7 minutes or so for Basong.
SKC has also been active in incomings to this point. Like Moises Mosquera is not here today, coming over from Juarez last week. He's not here today, but he'll be with them hopefully pretty soon. And a couple other players, Orblorian being one of them who you are seeing today, a couple other players coming in. So they've been active. Still a lot of time remaining in this transfer window for Atlanta United.
Looks like Shane Donovan checking in, 88. 4 goals, 3 assists for Sporting Kansas City 2 and MLS Next Pro this season.
Ronald Hernandez. Toto Maju. Will Riley. And Cameron Dunbar saves that to Elias Baez. Good work by Dunbar. Edwards. Luke Brennan seeing a lane. Played back to Luke Brennan now. There's his cross. Slammed home by Cameron Dunbar.
Brilliant work all the way around for Atlanta United / Atlanta United 2 / Atlanta United Academy. Everybody involved in that sequence. That's the finish that Dunbar's been looking for. He's been knocking on the door for most of this 30-minute period. Hardinas plays the 1-2 with Brennan to free him up. Excellent ball to the back post by Brennan low. And Dunbar ready to pounce and finish that where there's no chance for Cleveland. The 1-2 with Hardinas is what gets Brennan into that spot in the 18. And Dunbar, you can see him open up and place that into the opposite side. The body shape from Cameron Dunbar to turn and not try to go across his body there with the left foot, but to open up and put it into the opposite side. Really good finish from Dunbar.
I also felt like that was a pretty good read of the whole situation by Cayman Togashi, who could have lunged for that and tried to poke it in and instead let that roll through to Dunbar, who had the better opportunity.
Hopefully Dunbar was calling for it on the backside. But I love the 1-2 with Hardinas as well. And we've seen the weight of the passes from Hardinas. Young players often get excited and they overhit passes. He has weighted passes through balls really well so far.
Opportunity now. Calvin Harris sails it over the bar. So Atlanta United on the late goal by Cameron Dunbar trying to hold on now, as Harris had an opportunity to equalize and mishit it.
Majub does enough to keep pushing him wide to take away his angle. The 1-2 with Joveljic was nice, though.
Luke Brennan stabbed out for a throw by Jaden Reed.
It's been a really good shift for Luke Brennan. He has made things happen consistently in the attacking third, and that's been the missing element for him because he does so many things that Tata Martino wants. But in those attacking positions, you've got to produce in the attacking third. He's done that today in a big way.
Riley sails that out. I think if we take a broad assessment on Atlanta United, the 2 goals conceded were a penalty and a really odd broken play with Hoyos trapped in the far corner. So with that context in mind, again, I mean, I don't want to do Tata's thinking for him, but I think he's going to be relatively pleased with the way that this entirety of the 90 minutes went for Atlanta United.
The entirety of the 90 minutes, Atlanta United's had more control They have played well. Those are the things that you want. Those are the things that you build to get. You want to be sharper in some of the moments that led to the 2 goals that you concede.
Atlanta United looking to slam the door now.
Hardinas again.
To Matt Edwards. And that rolls past Cameron Dunbar. Ian James clearing for SKC.
Pass needed just a little bit more there from Edwards. Man, the passing out of the midfield from Andrew Hardinas.
Yeah, very impressive. Tota Majub. Good read. Calvin Harris now. Harris putting the cross in. Majub knocking it out for a corner. So Sporting will try to find a late equalizer here on their 6th corner of the match. I do wonder, there was that lengthy injury stoppage involving Calvin Harris, if maybe any stoppage time would be played here. This is the final 30-minute period. They're going to go short to Harris off this corner. Garcia intercepted. Luke Brennan. And then repelled off the ball nicely. Good play.
Capita ran that down. That's really good pace.
On diagonal here for Capita. Man open. It is Garcia, and that shot blocked. Atlanta United trying to see this out now. Work to do. They do get a throw here as we have 1 minute remaining. This is, again, kind of one of those odd mental pretzels that you're in right now. This group has only been able to play for 30 minutes. This is a friendly. You obviously want to leave with a win, but you might approach this situation a lot differently than you would if it were, say, a regular season game. In other words, I don't expect Atlanta United to be taking the ball into the corner and try to run the clock out.
No, I don't think you'll see much stoppage time either.
Frankly, I think SKC would appreciate that. These guys have played 90 minutes. So with that in mind, seconds to play. Matt Edwards. Luke Brennan. There's the long diagonal, a little beyond Dunbar. They're going to keep playing. So the referee checks his watch. But Cameron Dunbar, at this moment, appears to have the game winner for Atlanta United. No indication of how much stoppage time we're going to have.
Maybe giving Kansas City one more attacking run here.
Harris. Jaden Reed there in the corner to support. Harris. That is well handled by Tota Majub at the near post. Cleared by Atlanta. Warblorian there defending as it is blocked by Wyatt Meyer at the penalty spot. They continue to play here. Pitch to the back post, and Cleveland pulls off. They blow for full time, and Atlanta United on the goal in the 84th minute by Cameron Dunbar. Pretty good performance by Atlanta United today in a 3-2 win over Sporting Kansas City, a friendly that had a lot of everything.
Yeah, Tata Martino will be happy with this. You see him giving Andrew Hardinas a handshake and a hug there. Same for Minea Mihai. Good performance from him. First time we've seen him with the first team. I think you're going to feel really good about this if you're Tata Martino and the coaching staff. The principles of play were strong. You saw something new in what we hadn't seen with Latte Lot wide to the right. Tomas Jakob there would be my man of the match. I thought he was excellent in the first 60 minutes. Let's take a look at the highlights that got this score line to 3-2 for Atlanta. It was very back and forth. Calvin Harris with that cross. That's what led to the penalty. Muyumba and Jovelic's feet got tangled. Jovic with the great finish. No chance for Ojos. Good response, though, from Atlanta. It was Jacob down the right, finding Latte Lot. He dribbled in. Wonderful finish from Jay Fortune with the inside of the right foot. Then Jacob again getting into the attacking third. Cooper Sanchez stays with it. Really nice finish from him. Those two are pumped up, but Jacob down the right was such a handful. This is the Kansas City second goal. Ojos commits. He stays out, can't get back, and no one can get back for Capita, who has way too much space on the back post. Frustration all the way around. But Atlanta found a way to win it. Brennan from Hardines to Dunbar, and a great finish from Cameron Dunbar. 3-2 Atlanta.
3 nice goals for Atlanta. They win the preseason, or the friendly here. It feels like it's preseason.
Mid-season friendly.
Mid-season friendly. It feels like it's been a preseason. Now Atlanta United goes to Nashville next Friday to restart play with 4 road matches. Does this provide any kind of momentum whatsoever, or is it just more of a baseline of fitness?
No, 100%. I mean, a win is a win, and you create momentum out of that. This is a good performance. This is a good way of playing for this group. Kansas City's going to take things out of this as well. I think both teams are going to be generally pleased with the morning, pleased with what they got. There are things to clean up, and we'll see how both of these coaches get their teams ready for the restart to the regular season next week.
Everyone came out healthy, too, which is vital. So, Atlanta United at Nashville next Friday, Sporting Kansas City at St. Louis when they resume their season. And this preseason this friendly is in the books with Atlanta United on goals by Jay Fortune, Cooper Sanchez, and Cameron Dunbar defeating Sporting Kansas City 3-2. Thanks so much for joining us.